Sackboy: A Big Adventure brings the Little Big Planet star back into the spotlight for an adventure focused on platforming fun rather than the creation side of his former franchise. That doesn't mean the new adventure is losing any of the charm, wit, or creativity of LBP, but is instead putting the focus on a platforming adventure crafted to offer variety, challenge, and a whole lot of slapstick fun. IGN recently spoke with developer Sumo Digital's Ned Waterhouse about Sackboy's new adventure and what the developers are bringing to PS4 and PS5 players. Here are some of the big and small takeaways from what players can expect in this new Sackboy outing. Though Sumo Digital has confirmed before that Sackboy will run at 60 frames per second, Waterhouse spoke a bit at length about why, from the start of the project, this locked frame rate was such a key facet of the game. He said, quote, "We said from day one the absolute must was a smooth 60 frames per second because we focused on play, and that was about creating the best platformer we could. For us, that meant awesome character controls, and it meant a really responsive character," he said. He explained that this meant a solid frame rate on both the PS4 and PS5 versions of the game needed to happen. So he said, quote, "We said from the get-go it has to be a solid 60 across all platforms. We used dynamic resolution scaling to ensure that we can keep it at a smooth 60, but that was our priority throughout development. And I hope that players feel the benefits of that when they play the game." Platformers often have to thread a difficult needle of, well, difficulty, ensuring that they can be approachable from the start for players to learn the ropes, while also letting those who crave a challenge really test their skills. Waterhouse said, quote, "We wanted to create an experience with broad appeal that everyone can enjoy. He's a wonderfully endearing character, the world is rich and it's inviting, and we just wanted lots and lots of people to get the chance to experience that and to enjoy that." But of course, platforming fans crave a good challenge, and the Sumo Digital team took an interesting approach. Namely, the difference in mastering the campaign and mastering all of Sackboy's content comes in his moveset. He said, quote, "So the way that we approached this was we said we're going to broaden Sackboy's moveset. We're going to introduce loads of new moves. But we will only use a subset of those moves to complete the main adventure. That doesn't mean the main adventure doesn't have challenge. It's familiar and welcoming when you start. The challenge increases as you become more accustomed to the character and the world. But what you don't need to do is learn every move, and you don't need to learn how to chain them all together. You can complete this game with a subset of those moves. However, if you want to set all the high scores, find all the secrets, master all the levels, beat the post-game, and platinum this game, you are going to have to learn how to master this character." In particular, Waterhouse pointed to a subset of levels called the Knitted Night Trials, which Waterhouse described as, quote, "quick-fire, fast-paced, arcadey bits of gameplay where you've got this hazard-strewn obstacle course, one life, and you have to get to the finish line as quickly as you can. They sound extremely tough, and we can't wait to try them ourselves." Sackboy is going to be launching as a PS5 game and is aiming to take advantage of the new system's advanced capabilities. But Waterhouse made it clear that PS4 players should not expect to be disappointed by the experience. He said, quote, "When it comes to the PlayStation 4 version of this game, I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed if they buy that version. For me and for the team, it was really important for us to be on that platform because we wanted as many people as possible to get a chance to play this game. That said, the new console is more powerful, it's got new features, and that allowed us to enhance both the visuals, take advantage of the SSD, and do some work with the DualSense and the haptics." Waterhouse and I were speaking in the context of what the DualSense brings to Sackboy's adventure, but he wanted to make it clear that even without its unique capabilities, PS4 players can still expect the same platforming levels and challenges, along with the same performance goal of 60 frames per second the devs had for both versions. Sackboy has always had a charming humor to him and his world, and injecting his new adventure with a Monty Python-esque style of comedy was something Waterhouse explained the team wanted to do not just in the game's story, but also through its gameplay. And it helps, as he described them, that the devs have a bit of, quote, mischief in them anyway. He said, quote, "One thing that we did is we said there should be lots of ways for players to interact with each other. So in this game, you can slap each other, you can bounce off each other's heads, you can pick each other up and shock them, you can grapple, you can do a roll run into one another. There are perfectly legitimate ways to use all of those moves in the game in order to progress. But also, you can sneak up behind your little brother and slap him off a platform," Waterhouse joked, mentioning that he wouldn't be surprised if the game maybe causes a few arguments during the holidays. We learned plenty more about Sackboy: A Big Adventure ahead of its November 12th launch, so be sure to head to IGN for more. And for even more PS5 news, be sure to check out our weekly PlayStation show, Podcast Beyond, hosted by me, so consider this a very shameless plug. And for everything else PlayStation 5, you're already in the right place, my caffeine-fueled mind. I mean, you're at IGN.